Alright, so let's talk about recovery on some of these bad boys. This is a persimmons, chocolate persimmons. I don't know if you saw my other video, the wind pretty much blew off all the bells. I just moved this over to this air pot. I'm excited for some of these fruits. Look at these. Beautiful. That recovery. Guava's also over here taking some of that heat off of the avocados and loving it. Ruby Supreme took a couple years for this to get started, but once it started, you can't stop it. Those just look marvelous. Sometimes even I'm astonished with nature. Sometimes even grow. I just come out here and just stare, just hang out. Probably shouldn't let it fruit. Just focus on getting leaves. I want to show you the recovery on this citrus. Some aborts. Citrus is really good at aborting its own and denting itself. The great thing about gardening, like each season gets better. Like you learn a little bit more if you're not killing your plant, and you'll get more. It increases, you know, the value. But this is what it looks like when you let your things fruit too soon. This should be a lot larger of a tree. This is one of my oldest, and I let it fruit right away. I didn't give it time to get larger, fill out with leaves, hit it with a lot of nitrogen. So, not that it doesn't give me fruit. Again, if you have a family of 4, got it in a barrel, 4 or less, even more than that. I mean, I don't know how many lemons you really need. There's a good 20-something lemons on here growing. So you'll get more than enough, but it should be more bushy. I should have focused on shaping, and these leaves are what's going to protect it through the summer. So that's also a fact of how the nutrients I gave it and all that. These smaller leaves are the new leaves, right? Solar panels, you got to think about. As soon as summer hits, you're going to get the smaller leaves, bigger surface area. You get bigger leaves and when it's cold. And then once it starts getting warm, you start getting the smaller leaves. Because it needs less light. But we're even having new blooms. Gonna let it do its thing, and I start changing the NPK from a higher to a higher N and lowering the P. And let's go around and help it with these aborts. But truly, like without a shadow of a doubt, if you let your tree grow and establish first, no matter what, even if it's a larger tree, give it at least a year to establish itself in your environment. If it's a smaller tree, give it at least 3 years. You want the roots to fill out, then you want the leaves to fill out. Well, you want it to grow, and then you want your leaves filling out. Then you let it fruit. 3 years, 3-year rule. Whoop, this finally tried the fruit, it looks like. That doesn't look like it's gonna make it. I've had this navel orange just as long as this one. We've had issues though. I used regular soil from a store in this one. And this is the result. It takes longer. So I've had to replant this twice now because I learned about well draining soil. Now we're there. We're letting it do its thing. I told it, I gave it a stern talking to and said, if you don't produce this year, if I'm not seeing some signs of you being able to produce, we're going to be getting rid of you because it's been 4 years. And then this mug. That's what it gave me. So it knows. Sorry for threatening you. You'll stick around. But as you garden, you start to realize over time, okay, so at first it's like, oh, these things are cool. Let me get all these cool things. And, and then you start wanting to do things easier and easier as you start, once you get to like year 3, you don't want to have things that are fussy so much. Or maybe you have like 1 or 2 things that are like that. And then you start getting a collection of the things that you probably should have done in the first place, like figs, citrus for this zone. This guy, this is his first season. I mean, it's a fairly established tree. I'm not gonna let it fruit, even though it's gonna try to. As you can see, we're starting to bloom. This is a Rio Red grapefruit. I'm definitely gonna let this one establish and get set up. This looks worse than what it really is. Just that first year establishment going on. And then this one I've had for like 2 years, might be on the 3rd year, but I let it, this is the one that grew separately, and it took all the energy away from this guy, and it's been pretty much the same size, same look since I've had it. But now I cut off those dang suckers. It was one large sucker, and now we're trying to fruit. It's orange, I forgot what it's called, but the one with the all the wrinkles. I really got to go around and put labels on everything. We are having flowering. Citrus are for this zone. If you're in zone 9, get yourself a citrus. And like I said, I'm growing in pots, half barrels, regular pots. You can see how many flowers are going to be on this guy. This one is established in what you would look more for in your other trees, right? So I get 20, 30 fruit off of this. How many do you really need? You don't need to put things in ground. I'm telling you, it just makes more sense to do things in pots to an extent. You can formulate the soil to be exactly what you want it to be. It's less watering. It slows things down. Like, there's no reason not to do things in pots, in my opinion. I'm in zone 9. Get super hot here. Things are surviving fine in pots. I don't know. It's to me, it just makes more sense to do things in pots. I'm glad that I have this dumb grass in the first place, because I probably wouldn't have done this way. I'd have things planted everywhere and have tall trees that are 15 feet tall. Sure, you probably would get a whole lot more fruit off of something that's planted in the ground. But how much fruit do you need? Unless you're trying to do this and go to farmers markets and things like that, which I can probably still do. I just wouldn't be going so often, and I still might, just to bring our farmers market here sucks. So scene here sucks, and the ones that are here are generally from other areas. But if you're just trying to do this for your hobby and do this for your family, my suggestion is to do it in pots. You get good soil, you get good drip irrigation, and then you have to feed it, of course. But citrus, zone 9, let's go.